Hello YouTube! Welcome back to my channel. It's Feminine Podcast. Welcome back to this podcast, this episode. I will be talking about a touchy topic and I hope there are people who will be triggered. No, I'm just kidding. So I will be talking about modern feminism. Because I'm a feminist, I think that women need to be empowered. I think that every human needs to be empowered and that if women feel good, men will feel good, and families will feel good, and children will feel good, and it will heal the whole world. So I'm a feminist myself, but I don't agree with modern feminism, and I will be explaining why. So to me, modern feminism, it's the feminism that we have now, with certain group of people just thinking that we have to be bashing men to be better than them in a way, and just want to erase gender roles and gender models. So the feminism is to me really important because in some countries women can't vote, they can't have a bank account, they can't go out without a man. It depends on the people. Maybe some women do agree with that, but most of them don't. So I think that modern feminism isn't the thing. The thing that we should do is bring feminism to country where women aren't independent enough to be safe where they are. I think that in Western countries, we should also be trying to add feminism, but not in the way it's added, not by trying to show our boobs out in town, not by working as hard as a man, not by showing everyone we can be as independent as a man, and not by showing every part of our bodies, just to say that we are free to be showing what we have. So for the first time, not for the first time, I think it's the second episode I've prepared a little bit. So I have 4 axes I would like to talk about. So the first one will be sex. I don't want to talk about too much about something wrong, but let's say it about sex. We'll be talking about sex. The second one will be single mothers, and I will do another episode on this really soon. The third one is burnout and depression, and the fourth one is men suffering. So there are so many stuff I would like to talk about. I would also like to talk about the look that we have nowadays, the fact that women are less and less taken care of, and all this stuff. But I think the 4 axes are already a lot. And if ever you want me to talk about something else, what is my opinion on something else about modern feminism, and you want me to explain a little bit, you can always put your opinion in the comment. We can debate. We can talk about everything we want. So the first one is sex. By sex, I also mean body. I also mean everything related to our bodies and our sexual representation. So I think that nowadays, I'm really glad that women are free to be showing a little bit of everything today, because I don't want to be wearing a corset. I don't want to be restrained by a dress. So I'm really glad that now we can be wearing everything we want. But the thing is, I will not be talking about look too much because I think I will make another video on this one. But I think that just trying to be sharing our bodies with everyone for the sake of freedom, I don't think it's a good idea. Because to me, maybe I'm wrong, sexual intercourse involves sharing everything we have. I wouldn't say sins, but I would say wounds. All the wounds we have, we are sharing with someone else. You're not only sharing your body. If ever you're a bit spiritual, you have to know that you are sharing a bit of your soul and spirit. You are sharing a lot more than what you think. And also, it can be really tiring. I swear, it can be really tiring to be spread around the world, not be concentrate on one relationship. Even though I'm all for rotational dating, it doesn't mean that you have to sleep with everyone. I think that sleeping with a lot of people don't bring freedom. It bring wounds. I don't think you'd lose value. Like everyone is saying that if a woman had several partners in bed, like she loses her value. I think it's all limiting beliefs. But what I think is it doesn't make you feel better. I don't think it's empowering to be sleeping with a lot of people. I don't think you have a lot to brag about. I don't think you need to show up about having sex with a lot of people. To be honest, I don't think it's a good idea to be sharing your body with a lot of people. I don't think it's empowering at all. You're here, you can't be concentrate, and even if you're not a spiritual, you have to look at scientific, sorry, studies. Science doesn't lie. You have to know that you have hormones, and you can't be sharing your hormones like this. Every time having a new partner doesn't help at all, because women, when we sleep with someone, we literally fall in love with them. It doesn't always happen, but if it doesn't happen and you're trying to go against your hormones, you will soon discover that even if you don't want to fall in love with someone, you will be falling in love with someone you don't like. Also, if you don't have any birth control, or if you have one, maybe it can not work, so you wouldn't like to be pregnant with someone you don't like, or someone you don't even remember. There are so many stuff. There are also disease. You don't want to be catching anyone's disease, and you can't be trusting everyone. I wouldn't say that sex is like money. I don't think it's the same importance, and even like it's not even comparable. But if ever you want to have, if ever someone tells you, "Let me borrow you a certain sum of money, a certain amount of money," it could be 1,000, it could be 10,000. It depends on what makes you uncomfortable um to be borrowing, like to give to someone. Just give me 10,000, and I swear I will give it back to you. Would you do that to a stranger you've met in a club? Would you do that to a stranger you've met in a bar? Would you give some money to someone you've met on Tinder? On the first date, on the second date, give them 1,000, and they will give it back to you even in the 24 hours soon? No, you wouldn't. And I have this example because you really know that I'm like literally in love with money. So you know that money is really important, not as important as my body, as myself. But I swear that when I was like, what do you really like? I really like money. Would I give money to someone? Would I trust someone enough to give them money and they will give it back to me? Would it work? No, it wouldn't work. So it means that I wouldn't uh, sleep with this person. You know, you'd sleep with your husband because you know that he's your husband. You're sharing everything. Your money is his money. His money is your money. You're sharing the same bed. You're sharing the same house. You have the same kids. So it's not the same stuff, you know. But when it's a stranger out there, met in a club, met in a bar, met on Tinder, met here or there, you wouldn't be sharing your body this way. You'd be sharing your body, but you wouldn't give them 1,000 for them to give it back to you in a minute. So to me, it's not empowering. Would you give money, like if ever you sleep with three men in a like 3 men a week, would say, you'd be just giving 3,000 and waiting for it to come back. It wouldn't work this way. So you wouldn't like to be sharing your body to people. It's not empowering. So yeah, let's get to the second one because I think it's important to be talking about single mothers. I will be doing another episode. So in 2 episodes, I will be talking about not wanting to be called a queen, but wanting to be called a goddess. And let's end the struggle life. I already have the title of this podcast because it's really important for me. But I will touch upon single mothers just a little bit. So if ever you're interested in seeing the other video, you can also be watching this one to have more details about what I'm talking about. But I don't want to be bashing anyone. I know it's really hard to have a child, even if you have all your family around, even if you have the husband, the father with you. I know it can be a lonely journey, and postpartum depression is a thing. Don't get me wrong. Don't get offended. Don't get triggered. Empowering single mothers is not a thing. Modern feminism is saying that if you want to be a single mother, you can do it. Of course, you can. If you are in a toxic relationship, you wouldn't be staying just for the sake of love or sake of marriage. But there are more and more single women nowadays that are struggling with their child, and I don't think that they need to be applauded. I think they need to. I think that if they could have this kind of educational videos first, they will do it. But the thing is, I don't think they were influenced. I don't think everyone is influenced to be a single mother. But I think that if they could be just have, I don't know how to explain, but I think that if they could just have access to these educational videos, they wouldn't make the mistake. It's not always a mistake. I know that a lot of people are, like a lot of single women are doing really fine, but I know that most of them aren't. And I don't want to be talking too much about this stuff because I don't want to be triggering anyone. But I will be talking about this video and about this subject really soon, about single mothers, about teen mothers too. I think that modern feminism is just trying to tell everyone it's not only feminism, it's like the society we live nowadays with the non-binaries and everything. I think that we are getting way too far. We are going way too far by telling people they can do whatever they want. Okay, you can. Of course you can, but don't forget your main rule. Back in the days, if you didn't have any husband, any father for your child, you'd be dying, and your child will be dying too with you. So today, single mothers are in survival mode, and I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be bashing them today. I don't want to be bashing anyone again, but I don't think it's a good idea to be raised by a single mother. She's always in survival mode. Maybe she's the breadwinner, she's the father, and I don't. I think these women just need to be empowered and find a way just to be happier. I don't think that telling them that they are strong will help them. I think they literally don't care. You're already here struggling, being the father, being the mother, having to have a job. I don't know. They could have only one child. It's already a lot. Maybe the father is far. They are trying to contact them. They can't do it. Their children are suffering. There are even some children who are who feel really really bad. They even feel a lack, even though their mother is trying to be both parents. It's already a lot to be a mother with like in a couple, a married couple having children. So being alone in this journey, I don't think it's funny at all. And modern feminism is just telling people, just telling women that they can be self-sufficient and that they can be autonomous enough not to have a normal, I don't want to be bashing anyone, but normal family with a father, a mother, and children only. They are always trying to say, yeah, you could live with a cat, you could be single mother, you will rock it, you can do everything. Yes, of course we have this power. Of course we are independent nowadays. We can vote, we can have a bank account, we can work, but it doesn't mean that we have to let single mothers struggle and just tell them, oh, go for it, girl, you're doing okay. Maybe there are some stuff they aren't telling you. Maybe they are burned out and in depression, and it will be the next one. It will be the next topic. So, burnout and depression, I think that women nowadays are having too much. They are having a burden. And I was talking about that with a friend of mine. He's a really masculine man. He's from the Arabic culture. He's North African. So their men are literally masculine. They do everything. They pay for everything. They literally protect and provide. And if you are in Islam, you have to know that in Islam, men have to provide for their women. So he was telling me that feminism was surely invented by men because they didn't want to provide anymore. They wanted to confuse women. I don't know if it's true or not, but it will make sense. Let me explain. Burnout and depression happens whenever you have so much stuff on your head, whenever you are literally carrying a burden for too many months or years, and you just can't anymore because you don't have enough strength. You're just a human. Human are freaking weak. You have no idea how weak we are, how easily we can die. So I think that now that women want to go 50-50, now that they want to be independent, now that they want equality and not equity, which is not the same thing. I stand for equity. I think that everyone should have the same chance. They could be rich or poor, black, white, red, yellow, whatever color you are, whatever gender you are, you should have the same rights. But they didn't want the same rights only, they wanted equality, they wanted literally to be men. So nowadays there are confusion, especially in dating and relationship, even at work, I'd say, because you don't have this polarity with femininity, sorry, and masculinity. So now everyone is confused. Modern feminism leads women to be in depression, and not only women to be in depression, also men. I will be talking about that right after. I will make the transition with men suffering too. But you are here. I always want to talk about mothers because I feel like they are the one struggling the most. Mothers and wives who are here, they are like they are slaves to their men, they are slaves to their boss at their job. They are coming back home. They have to clean. They have to cook. They have to take care of the kids. I don't say that men aren't involved in relationships or aren't involved in being parents with their children, but most of the women we have, I think we have a sixth sense that makes us think about stuff men don't always think about. So sometimes you will be thinking about something and you will just carry the burden he's not carrying. Also, you will have to be looking good, you will have to wear heels, you will have to wear dresses, you will have to wear makeup, you will have to be doing this and that. And being a woman, I don't say that it's hard. I'm really, really glad to be a woman. I don't think I would like to be a man, but not knowing what you are, going against your hormones, going against your cycle, I mean like everything related to your periods, going against your will, trying to be masculine when you are a feminine being, can just lead you to depression, can just lead you to burnout. We see so many stuff nowadays with modern feminism. Let's go get it. Be a lady boss. Do this, do that. And some women just don't even realize that they are just becoming more and more masculine. And being feminine isn't about having your nails done, about having your makeup done. It's about softness. It's about not being in survival mode, just feeling safe. But if you can't feel safe, if you're always in survival mode, if you always have to protect and provide for yourself, I'm not saying that single women just can't do that. I think you can find a right balance between masculinity and femininity when you don't have a man around of you. Maybe you might want me to do a podcast on it because this is topic that was really interesting. And I was really struggling to know how to be masculine, not masculine, but have this masculinity around me when I didn't have a man in my life. But it just leads you to depression, and it led me to depression. Modern feminism led me to burnout and depression because I thought that I could go and do everything by myself, just work as a man, work the same hours, the same shifts, doing a really, really masculine, I'm in a really masculine field. IT is only resolving issues, algorithms, and all this stuff. It's really, really masculine to me. Doing this and also going to my student job, working from Monday to Sunday just led me to depression because I was hearing people telling me you have to struggle. It has to be hard. Maybe it has to be hard for men because they are masculine. Maybe they really like the challenge. Maybe they like to be challenging themselves, going against something and something. But as a woman, maybe you'd like to have another approach, but it's not really, we don't have that much feminine people, that much feminine women that did it without being masculine. So it can lead you to depression, it can lead you to burnout because most of the financial boss leaders are masculine, and maybe you will just go their way, and most women did it this way, and it will just lead you to depression because you don't have the same hormones, you don't have the same cycle. Men have a 24-hour cycle, whereas women have a 28 days cycle. It has nothing to do with what they are. We don't have the same hormones, not the same quantity of hormones in our bodies. It doesn't work the same way. So it just happens that women are just burned out in work, and it doesn't, like, they aren't effective. They are burned out in their relationships, and they can't do anything anymore, and it just leads to depression, and everything just falls apart. And it can just, like, end a marriage. It can just end your career. And I wanted to do the transition with men suffering too, because when your woman isn't feeling good and you don't know why, you don't feel good either. Don't think that men are trying to to push us down. Don't think that men are our enemies. We have to work in collaboration. And when we are suffering as women, men also are suffering. Everything about work, everything about relationship and dating. If you think that men are here just to push us down, put us down, like, you're literally wrong. Most of the men I know are really nice. They are really kind. They are genuinely kind, and they want to provide. They literally are, like, they are begging to provide. They are begging to help a feminine and a weak woman. I wouldn't say weak, but feminine and soft woman. They just want this. And where you are in a relationship and you're trying to do everything, and you're just telling him that he doesn't have to do anything because he's just, like, you just want to be independent. You want to go 50-50. You want to be as strong as him. You want to be carrying the same burden when you don't have the same hormones, when we literally have genders made for a reason. He wouldn't get pregnant for you. He wasn't trying to do your job. So why are you trying to do his? Maybe he can't even find his place in the relationship. He's here in the relationship. He doesn't even know what to do. You're so independent that he could feel useless. He could even feel weak. Maybe sometimes you're trying to be so strong, and you don't even surrender to your husband. And he's like, what am I supposed to do? Who I am? I don't even feel masculine. Maybe you're mocking him in public, telling him how weak he is in front of other people. But this is something else. But modern feminism led women to just be men, and it can be really tiring for them. They don't even know what to do with the Me Too stuff. I know that there are feminine, like, there are abuse everywhere. I know that women are abused everywhere. I know that women are just suffering with dick pics on social media, just being bullying every time, everywhere, from every genders. They are bullying by men, bullied by women. It can be really tiring, and I'm glad that women are starting to speak. But now that the Me Too exists, men don't even know where to place themselves. They don't even know what to do. They're scared of touching you. They don't know if they have to pay on the first date, because some women, if you pay on the first date, they will say, oh no, I'm independent, I want to pay the check. The other one will say, no, why aren't you paying? You're not even masculine. They don't even know what to do. They are so much suffering because they are so confused, and so are we. It is so confusing to be, like, changing everything we've been doing for millions of years of existence. They are, like, lost, literally lost, and they are talking to me because I'm a feminine woman, and I have like a lot of boy friends, and they are here telling me that they don't even know what to do. They are so scared of doing a mistake because they don't know what we want. We are not standing for equality. Then we are standing for equity. Then the other one wants to be feminine. But she's only feminine by her face. But then she wants to go 50-50, and then she wants to own the house. Like last time, my friend, a girlfriend, told me she wanted to own the house. So in case something happens, she can just put her husband divorce, and just throw him out of the house. And I was like, no, it's a marriage. If you want to get married, it's a collaboration. We have to collaborate with men. They aren't here to be our enemies. We have to be in collaboration, okay? If you want to do business, you should better collaborate with someone instead of being enemies. And I was like, you have to own the house. Both of you have to own the house. You're literally married. You can't be owning the house yourself and just put him in this really weird situation when you can get rid of him in a heartbeat. You can't do that. But she was like, no, but I don't know. Men can be really dangerous. He can beat you. You have to get rid of everything, your limiting beliefs, because everything you think, everything you have in mind will happen to you. Modern feminism isn't listening to science, isn't listening to evolution, isn't listening to even law of attraction, because it's putting so much limiting beliefs in women's head. And I don't think that they feel any better. They don't feel any better showing their bodies on Instagram. They don't feel any better talking about sex here and there. They don't think any better not having a proper relationship, just being in situationships, having sex friends here and there, just sharing their bodies everywhere, being single mothers in a heartbeat, um, being in depression and in burnout without even knowing why. They're so confused, and men are so confused too. Oh my god, this is a topic that is really, really important to me. I could be talking about this for hours. And I would really like to talk about some other topics like situationships, just telling women that girlfriend isn't a thing. Being a girlfriend isn't a thing. When people are hearing that I do rotational dating, they are so freaking confused. When it's just evolution, we are mammals after all. Just remember that we are meant for marriage and proper relationship. We have to be claimed by men. I will be talking about single mothers, teen pregnancies, and everything that modern feminism led us to when I was really, really happy. Today, I'm really happy. I'm not bashing feminism. I'm not telling that feminism is something bad. I'm really glad to be having my bank account, to be able to provide for myself, to be able to be independent and not rely on a man if ever he's toxic. I'm really happy to be voting. I'm really happy to have the rights I have as a human. But just telling me that I have to be a man, just telling me that I have to compete with a man just to be happy and be proud of myself, like he's literally the price. I just want to be as strong as him. I just want to be no, because I'm not him. I'm a woman. I have ovaries. I have eggs. I'm not here to be trying to compete with someone who isn't like me. It's like a story. I will be finishing on this, but an expression. um I don't have the proper words. I don't have like the literal sentence. But if you are trying to, I don't even remember the exact animals, but I think you've already heard that on social media. If you are trying to be comparing a fish and a monkey on their ability to climb a tree, you just realize that you're wrong, because the fish can swim, maybe the monkey can't swim, and the monkey can climb the tree and the fish can't climb the tree. It doesn't mean that they have to compete. It's something that I've heard about. I think it was work and studies, because school don't really teach us how to be ourselves. It teaches us how to be employees. But I think it can also apply to men and women. We have to work in collaboration. You have the CEO, you have the attorney, you have the IT guy, you have the salesperson, you have the cleaner, you have the maid, you have the babysitter. Everything is different. Everyone is different. They are all doing something for the good of the society. And even in company, you wouldn't be hiring only CEOs. You wouldn't be hiring only attorneys. You'd like to be hiring a little bit of everything for the society, for the organization to be working. So I want you to realize that we have to work in collaboration with men, and that maybe modern feminism isn't the way. Maybe you have to stop there and go against feminine abuse, against women being abused, and just help other women in other countries to have the same right as us, to be working in a real good polarity, and for us to be really independent, and just end this fake independent stuff, independent women stuff, because I don't stand for it. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you like my opinion. Maybe you think I'm wrong, so I would really like to hear yours. I would like to have your point of view on this one. What do you think about femininity, about sharing your body with several people, about being a single mother, about burnout and depression caused by modern feminism? If you had maybe this experience, tell me how it happened and maybe how you healed. and also talk about men suffering. I would really like to be hearing men on this one. I don't have that much followers on my channel, unfortunately, but I would really like to have men's opinion. If any man is listening to this video, just let me know what you're thinking about modern feminism. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I put every feeling I had into it, so it's a really it was really tough to do, but I'm really glad to be doing this one. It's a really honest video, so I hope that it will be taken as I wanted it to be taken. And I can't wait to discuss with this about this topic in the comment with you. Thank you so much for listening to this one, and see you in the next one. Bye.